Today we're going to create a mirror and we're going to create an object. This is the object I've created. You're going to create your own original object. Make sure that there's a hole in it so that you can prove that the mirroring works. So, whoops, back to OnShape. Okay, so I'm creating a new document in my IED folder. And I'll start by creating a sketch on my front plane. And I'm going to use the line tool. And I'm just gonna, let's just click and drag here and down. Notice when I move my pointer, if I see the dashed lines, I know that my line is vertical. The same with my horizontal. And I'm just gonna create an L shape. So I'm gonna just, okay. And then I'm gonna hit escape. All right, so I want to make sure that this line and this line are parallel, which they are not currently. So I can use some of the constraints here, and I'm going to use the parallel constraint to choose this line and force them into being parallel. I know that these are already parallel, but I can force them into being parallel as well. Okay, I can also use the, where is it? The perpendicular tool to make sure that this and this line are perpendicular. Okay, let's zoom in. I think I made my line a little bit too long here. So let's come in and let's trim this part of the line. Okay, and I'm not sure what that was, so I'm just going to remove it. Okay, so I can always click on my D to dimension if I want to start dimensioning. Oops, escape, hit my D for dimension. Oops, I'm still in. Okay, and I want to dimension this line. I'm just going to make it 3 inches. I'm going to dimension this to be half of that, so it's going to be 1.5 inches. Let's make this dimension be, let's make it be 2.5. Okay, and we'll make this one be an inch. Okay, so now that I have my shape, I can click on the green check mark. I can go back to a view that shows me more than one plane, and I can extrude by either clicking on the extrude or hitting Shift E. So I'm going to extrude this shape. Okay, and let's extrude that out. I don't know, what do you think? Let's make it 2 inches. Okay, right. So I'm going to need to add a hole somewhere. Um, and in the example I showed you, the hole was in this face. So let's do it right there. So I'm going to click on Sketch on this face. If I right click and I go to View Normal To, it will bring me, so I'm flat on looking on that face. I'm going to create a circle and let's give that a diameter of 1. Okay, and then I'm going to dimension by hitting the D key from here to this edge. And we're going to make this be half of that distance. So let's make it be 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and we're going to also dimension from here to here, and we're going to make sure that that's at 1 inch. Okay, once we have that circle created and placed, we can extrude that. Okay, so let's come in and hit the Shift E for extrude. This is the feature we're going to extrude. And let's take a look at these options. So we can create a new object, okay, or a new part within this part. We can add to the existing. We can remove, or we could intersect. Okay, intersect is kind of odd, and the intersect is the intersection between these two objects. So the way it's created right now, let's take a look at what the intersection would look like. Okay, so the intersection would give us just this cylinder. Okay, if we click on the new, you'll notice that they are both of the parts are two different colors, and I have two parts show up down here. So the first part is the L, the second part is the cylinder. If I add, I have one part and they're the same color. For this case, I want to remove. So I'm going to choose remove, and I'm going to make sure that it extrudes all the way out and click on this. And now I have my object with the hole. Okay, if I want to return home, very easy. Okay, so the next tool we're going to use, and why don't we turn off all of these planes because they're just getting in our way right now, is we are going to use the mirror tool. So to use the mirror tool, let's see if I can remember where it is. Here we are, the mirror tool. Okay, we're going to click on that and we need to choose an object. So we're going to choose this entire object. Okay, so part one has been selected. Then we have to choose the mirror plane. So the mirror plane I'm going to choose is this face. Okay, and again, I have those same options. I have new, add, remove, and intersect. Okay, remove really doesn't do anything, okay, because you can't remove nothing. Intersect really does anything because there's no intersection except, oh, actually, maybe just that plane. Um, add would add this mirror to this part, and new would add it as a new part. Notice I have one part here. When I click on new, I get two parts. Okay, so let's do that. Let's scroll around and take a look at it from all different views. Okay, and let's come in here and we could, let's see, we could edit the appearance. Notice I've selected part one. If I change part one, part two changes as well because part two was created from part one. So let's come to part two and let's right click and edit the appearance and let's change part two to be a different color. And since part two was created after in the sequence, only the color for part two is changed. So your job is to create your own custom shape and put a hole in it, mirror it. Make sure when you mirror it, you add an object, change the colors of both objects, take a screenshot, and put it in the file.